Cheese is absolutely delicious. Fried cheese is even better. So today I'm going to show you very simple fried cheese recipes that you can do at home. I remember fried mozzarella sticks as a childhood staple. After high school, we used to actually go to TGI Fridays just to drink unlimited iced tea and have some fried mozzarella sticks. So they had like really fat mozzarella sticks. What we're gonna do is just kind of like finger-sized ones. So get a good block of melty processed mozzarella, not the fresh mozzarella, obviously. This goes in a dipping station. You could take this further and make it more complicated if you want, but this video is not about that. This video is about just really quick recipes. So you could add parsley, garlic powder, season everything as you go. Here we're just gonna go very simple AP flour. And that goes in an egg wash. Egg wash goes into panko, gets pressed down. And then to get a nice thick coating, back into the egg and into the crumbs. So we're double breading here to just kind of give us an extra piece of protection between the oil and the cheese, and to try to keep as much as possible the cheese kind of intact. So you could use this right away, but it would kind of go all over the place. So it's really important to first put it in the fridge or in the freezer for a couple of minutes to make sure that the breading soaks up the moisture of the egg, and so it forms one kind of like unit. Our mozzarella sticks have really nicely come together. So now we can already start cooking them, shallow oil, 350. One of the reasons why we also put it in the fridge and why we want this to be like compact-ish is because right away you see how there's stuff floating around. And that's gonna happen even more if you were to do these kind of like really fresh, right? It's gonna cook fairly quickly, or maybe my oil's a bit too hot. Cool thing about things with cheese, it just takes a really short amount of time to cook them. You can serve this as is or with like a little marinara sauce or something. But I don't want to be annoying. Let's just serve this as is. So you need to let this rest a minute or so first before you can actually break into it. You just get melted cheese. But here you got that long ass pull. Little dip. Nothing says like you're at the beach than a cheese steak or a cheese lumpia. I like them really nice and thin, and I actually really like the flavor of quickmelt. I think this is something that should be made with quickmelt. If you want to be really fancy with it and add other types of cheese, you do you, but I'm gonna make my case that quickmelt is the right one to use. You can use lumpia wrappers, you can make them. I highly suggest buying them. Make sure you keep them moist because they do tend to dry out very quickly. Next, crack an egg. So this is gonna be used as the sealant for the lumpia. So what's gonna happen here, the way we're gonna roll this, is we're gonna cut this diagonally. Let's make some small ones, like this. That's one way to do it. Let's try doing like a really long one. You think that's gonna work? You like my biceps? Muscles. So we rolled it in different sizes just to try it out. I actually prefer the longer ones full sheet that we did. The triangular one like this, it's a bit small for my liking. And then we tried one where it's a diagonal just roll, so you should get like a nice crispy fan at the end there. Shallow fry. How quick does quickmelt melt? quick melt cheese doesn't actually stretch, right? So you won't do like that crazy stuff, but it's really melty, which is nice. Let's try it. Super simple. Sometimes, you know, the simplest things are the best. There's no point overcomplicating things. Yes, you could make like high-level versions of all the cheese dishes that we're doing today. Two ingredients. That hits home. A lot of people, when it comes to cheese dishes, they always vie for the corners. They always vie for the crispy bits. What you can do is kind of just grate some cheese using some cheddar cheese here, anything that melts really well and that has a lot of fat. Create kind of like a melting pattern in a pan. You can actually then flip that as it melts. You can then form it if you want as it cools in different shapes. If you make an omelet, if you're making, I don't know, some sort of seared protein, you can add this melted cheese kind of crust. It's all crust now on top of it, and it's absolutely delicious. So slow and steady wins the race here. You're gonna be tempted so many times to flip it before you can actually flip it. It really does have to feel almost like a crepe. And you might think that it's gonna start disintegrating because everything's becoming very oily. But at one point, there's no more oil to be extracted from the cheese, and you're left with kind of like the solids of the cheese, the whey, and those things aren't gonna evaporate. Until you get to a point where you can literally pick it up like that. And then in whatever shape you cool it, that's the shape it's gonna stay in. So I'm just gonna put it as a disc on a plate because I'm boring like that. But imagine if you have an omelet, drape this on an omelet. If you have a burger, you can put this on a burger. If you leave it like this in some cold, you can kind of make a taco shell. So this is like your keto taco shell, if you will. As you cool this down, it gets obviously harder to a point where it's crispy. So the next time you're fighting over who gets the crispiest part of any dish that has cheese, just go in the kitchen and make one of these.